Internet. We're on. What's up, all you weekend warriors? Welcome back to another TokuCHATsu, back in its original time slot, thankfully, on Saturday evening.
Yeah, that's right. I am Kimmin Ride Player, and
I am El Chizo, and it is good to be back on the weekend.
definitely. So, El Chizo, what do we have in store for our weekend warriors tonight?
Well, tonight we're going to be doing the typical. Tonight, the main event is going to be a discussion on a certain movie that you've probably heard us talk about before, but never really gone into detail on. Gamera versus Monster X. Now, of course, before we get into that, we're going to cover this week's episode of Kamen Rider, and so I'll let Kenman Ride Player, or we'll just call him Kenny for short, run through what's gone down this episode.
All right. So last we stopped on X-Aid. Let's see, I'm making sure I'm not remembering the wrong episode, because this was the one where the can you go through a refresher of it? Because I think I'm remembering the wrong episode right now. Because it's been a few days since I've watched it.
Okay, so long story short, Kronos has absorbed Game Deuce.
Okay.
He's ready for the Nico is the only one to collect all Gasha trophies.
Okay, I can start off from here now.
Okay.
Yes. So, Kronos challenges Nico after deeming the rest pathetic and unworthy of facing Kronos. Then Nico is given a Kronos Gashat to combat against the hybrid of Kronos and Deuce. And then after that, Taiga shows up to take over and goes into this very touching speech about how he is her patient, or her doctor, and she is his patient. And he goes into the speech that seems like how his character was portrayed in this episode seems a lot like a big throwback to Ichigo and how his character was portrayed. Remember, Ichigo was that lone hero who felt it was his sole duty to carry the burden that no one else should carry of being a Kamen Rider.
Well, then number 2 came around, Nigo.
Yeah, but at first...
But I get what you mean. Yeah, I could definitely see that being a reference there, keeping in mind that it makes a little bit of sense considering that next year is the 10th Heisei reboot, or Heisei revival Kamen Rider.
After Build, right?
No, Build will be the 10th.
Oh, Build is 10?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought...
Gaim is 6, Drive is 7, Ghost is 8, this is, and X8 is 9.
Oh, yeah, you are right. Yeah. So, yeah, we aren't getting a Decade Season 2 after all.
I don't think it's going to be a Decade Season 2. I think it's going to be its own thing.
Mm-hmm. We're talking about Build, though, right?
Yeah, Build. But right now we're going to focus on X8. We'll talk about Build at the end of the episode.
Okay. X8.
Staying on track.
And so Taiga pulls the Gashat, which is supposedly not supposed to work on him, but apparently due to him developing an immunity to the Buckster virus from the very beginning, since he was the first rider to precede the ride, or the first one to be the first ride player.
Well, he was the first X8. He was the first gamer rider.
Yeah, which is a ride player, right? No, ride
players are just the players of Kamen Rider Chronicle.
Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. But anyways, he's the first rider, and he does this epic speech, and then transforms, and he's in this he becomes Kronos and fights.
Yeah, that's actually what I love about this episode. Is like the game is designed so that who enters the final boss stage becomes Kronos, the guy on the front of the Gashat.
Mm-hmm. But what I really
Oh,
like about
Entertainer's
this,
Warehouse is here. He's here for the stream. Hey, dude.
who's on?
Entertainer's Warehouse.
Hey, man. But yes, back to X-Aid. What I loved about this was there was so much about Taiga that we didn't know about that was revealed in this episode in terms of like his reasons for acting. You know what I mean?
Very much
it reminds me of a from Batman Begins where Ra's al Ghul says the will to act, and everyone has a reason for acting or something like that. It's just he had a reason for why he was such a jerk and lonesome and everything. He felt that it was he didn't want anyone else to he felt that being a common writer was a huge burden, which is a lot of Showa writers seem to have that mindset, and that he didn't want anyone else to have to deal with that. So he thought if pushing them out of his way was the best way of doing it.
I think I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, no, I do know what you're saying, but yeah, that's exactly how Tiger reacted.
And Emu and Kiria finally understood it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a major, because we've already kind of seen Hiro kind of soften to Taiga.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to say it was very interesting, to me at least, to see them, use essentially a suit of the same mold right next to each other. Two suits of the same mold right next to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, for those of you who are just joining us, tonight we're going to be covering this week's episode of Kamen Rider. Then we're going to talk about Gamera versus Monster X. Then we're going to be talking about Kamen Rider Build. Tomorrow night is Sunday night stream, which will for once we check Twitter. Yeah, pizza granola down my throat. Anyway, so as I was saying, I think it was kind of interesting that they used two suits of the same mold right next to each other because they've cannibalized molds before to make new suits. Drive's Perfect Dead Heat was a great example.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I've ever seen two suits of the same mold sit right next to each other. So,
yeah, because the Chrono suits were the same mold, just different colors.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just my 2 cents on it. I think the character development was astounding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little upset that we still haven't seen much of Mighty Doctor Double X.
Right.
Because I want to see if they actually can pull it together and make a new suit.
Mm-hmm.
Entertainer's Warehouse says, nice hat.
Thank you. Can we talk about some of Dan Karuto in this episode?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about him.
Okay, so he's in jail, like in the little computer jail inside Poppy's arcade game.
Now she has to completely give up her room.
Yes. And then he decides to strike a deal with Kiria, how he knows how to make a gas shot that can help fight Kronos Deuce. And so they, after a lot of thinking, they finally accept the deal. He comes out, does that. This actually has become a GIF meme now. He does nothing can stop my godly talents, and then Kiria's like, "Hey, shut up," and he's like, "That's the
I think
highlight."
He's becoming more and more of a cartoon as time goes on.
Mm-hmm. Do you have predictions of how they're gonna end it with him and the series? Will he be a really good character and just be silly Bugster?
I think looking at the patterns, the Bugster virus ultimately has to be eradicated, which means and this is just my prediction, we are going to have to say goodbye to all the good Bugsters too. That means goodbye to Dan. That means goodbye to Kiria. That means goodbye to Poppy.
Oh yeah, because Kyria is now a bugster.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That also means we're going to have to say goodbye to Parado.
Yeah. That's gonna be really sad once this ends. I hope it doesn't end that way.
That is my prediction.
I cannot.
Place your bets now.
Hit me.
Anyway, before we move into Gamera, I want to talk about a little bit about how I envision the different forms of Kamen Rider. Oh, Entertainer's Warehouse asks what time it is over in Virginia.
It is. Hold on. 7:59.
Okay, so
sorry.
Talking about the levels that we'll talk about. Level 1, the best way I can describe it is like this. This is level 1. It's not much use to anyone. You might have a few very basic uses, but ultimately, in common practice, it's not used like this.
Mm-hmm.
Level 2 is this. It's got more uses now, having not been lit yet. Following, the Lao Tzu's philosophy, a bowl is more useful when it's empty. But any level above that, say like level 3, level 4, 5, is a bit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Different levels of Gashats are providing more fuel or more wick to fuel the flame.
Okay.
That's how I envision it.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of sense to that.
Now, before you go oversimplified, the reason I'm using a Zippo lighter here, there's actually ways you can manipulate this so that it gives off more fuel. So that it gives off more fuel, or you can stick more wick in there if you want to, and that can also affect it. So let's say XA level 1, XA level 2, and then we'll give him Gekitotsu robots. There's level 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now, then we get into Dragonite Hunter.
Yes.
That is one that definitely, level 5, definitely puts more fuel into the reserves, and it definitely burns hotter. Definitely. Actually, no, it doesn't have as much fuel, which is why 4 people have to use it.
Now, which one of the riders? Because it's been a while since I've seen Dragonite Hunter used in the show. Which one of the riders was it that was using it? Do you remember? Was it Brave?
For the most part, it was Brave.
Okay, because I remember Snipe used Bang Bang Simulation, which was pretty much the Yamato.
Yeah, he confiscated the Bang Bang Simulation's Tattle Fantasy.
Yeah, because Brave originally had that, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was using Tattle Fantasy a lot.
Uh-huh. That was funny. Because I like Bang Bang Simulation because it reminds me of the space battleship Yamato.
Then you've got a level 10 Gashat. Specifically, we're going to talk about Mighty Brothers Double X. Now, both of the brothers are level 10, so it's essentially you've turned one lighter with a lot of reserve in it to 2.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? And so you've got twice the burning power, so together they are level 20. Of course, the math doesn't actually shake out like that, but it's just 2 level 10s.
Yeah, that's true. So level 20, so Mighty Brothers Double X is level 20 in total, right? Since they're co-op.
According to Pallid Parados, according to his estimation. However, it doesn't really shake out that way. Mm-hmm. A level 10 is a level 10. Partnering him up with another level 10 does not magically boost your overall group level.
Okay, because you're both punching at the same power level.
Exactly. It's not more power. It's the same power twice.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, I'm not good at math, so if you can find a way that this works out, feel free to bite my head off in the comments. So then you get to level 50 Gashats. Like, just give me 1 second. Level 50 Gashats, like the knockout fighter perfect puzzle, or the perfect fighter Gashat.
Mm-hmm. I do have a question for you. Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry, I thought you stopped. Fine, I'll do it after you.
Anyway, that is definitely adding more power, but it is also simultaneously, essentially, it's giving you a double-chambered lighter. You can use, or it's essentially giving you the double-chambered lighter, so that you can, when one runs empty, or say you don't need one for that kind of burning, you can swap over to another that has more wick or has a higher flame level. And I believe someone did actually make something like that once.
Okay.
And so, anyway, you can continue the analogy up and up, and it becomes flimsier and flimsier as you keep going.
I had a hypothetical question for you. Like, if each of the riders, like Emu, Taiga, Hiro, and Kiria, were to take on the 4 Mario characters, Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi, who would be who? In your thoughts?
Well, Emu is definitely Mario.
Mm-hmm. That is true. Like, who would take on those Gashats? Like, we know Emu would take on the Mario Gashat.
Yep. If we're talking like personality matches, I don't think any of them would be Waluigi.
That's true. We can also do personality, actions, whatever.
I can Wario either.
Yeah. Wait. What about Taiga as Wario? Because he is greedy for Gashats.
He's greedy for most stuff. So maybe. And he does run a dirty hospital.
Hospital? What?
Quote unquote. A dirty illegal hospital. Looks like he doesn't even clean the place. Doesn't even mop.
True. It looks like one of those Taiga's hospital looks like one of those sketchy supposedly will cure your cancer type places.
I'm thinking even sketchier, like the illegal like hospitals where. Anyway,
yeah.
So I don't think if Wario had a Gashat, I think it might go to Taiga. Luigi, I think, would go to Kiria.
Oh yeah. Explain why though.
Because he tends to dodge around the subject a lot very early on, but you do see his guts come out later on.
Mm-hmm. And Luigi does do a lot of jumping too.
Yep.
Like,
Nico's a toad.
Nico's a toad.
She really doesn't add much to the group. I'm sorry. Like, I love her attitude. I love her personality. But as far as combat capabilities go, not much going on there.
Nico, for some reason, reminds me of Black Star from Soul Eater.
I can see how you get that.
Especially that pose where she's on Taiga like this. Reminds me of Black Star. For some reason. Or is it Death the Key that did that? I don't remember. But anyways. Anything else we can add on to X-Aid before we go into Gamera?
One more thing I think that we need to add on to X-Aid is, okay, it's not over yet. It's still a couple episodes away from being over. Remember that build does not start until October.
Mm-hmm. And remember that one guy, that Kronos tried to make a deal with, is still around. The gamer dude with the silly fan. Yep. and he's been teased in the ending commercial for the last episode. He will be
I
back.
think, yeah, we've got 3 episodes left because there's a 2-week break between seasons.
Yeah.
So it's going to wrap up fairly quick.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
It's coming to an end. Like, we've only got 3 episodes left. Make your predictions now, and I would say if you haven't bought a gamer driver yet, wait until build starts, until it launches its first 2 episodes. Then buy a gamer driver.
Yeah,
because that is when it will be at its cheapest.
Mm-hmm. What do you think its cheapest will be? Cheapest value?
I would say you'll be able to get a price to drop as low as 45.
Oh, I've seen some drivers. I've seen some drivers for 20. I've seen
true, but you have to consider how old 30. They are.
That's true. I see the decade driver for at least 30 at one point. One of the decade drivers. It wasn't that super expensive one that was
the complete selection.
Yeah, it was the 2009 decade driver, just the basic one that would be
the 2009 deluxe.
Yeah, deluxe.
I would check to see if that's on Amazon. Okay, that's an individual seller. Be wary of their prices. But if you go off of sites with a locked price like Hobby Link Japan or Big Bad Toy Store,
mm-hmm.
then you'll see the prices drop really far for a couple of weeks.
Yes, you showed me.
If you wait for about 10, if you wait until like the 10th episode, the prices are going to shoot right back up, even higher than they were during this season. So time your purchases. The Gashats will still be around just slightly higher price, but the driver itself, that's the thing you want to shoot for.
Yeah. It's weird because on the double driver, was that the same case with the double driver, or did it just skyrocket as time progressed?
It continued to skyrocket as time progressed because it is a much loved season, and they still make huge amounts of money on the secondary market. They don't make double drivers anymore, so Bandai's not really making money off of it. But I think they want to create something that has the same lasting impression with build.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? Do you think? Yeah. We'll talk about build later. And I can ask that question.
So, Gamera versus Monster X, the main event, ladies and gentlemen, that we'll be talking about tonight. We finally both watched it. I assume you streamed it. I watched it on DVD.
Can I see the case?
It's one of those old double features.
Oh, that's cool. Where can you get that? Before we start,
I got mine at a music store.
How about that?
Well, they sell other stuff besides music, but they got a movie
Planet
section.
Music?
Huh?
Planet Music?
Pardon? Planet Music? No. Turn it up.
Oh, okay. I'll have to keep my eye out.
There's only 2 stores. There's only 2 stores in the chain. Anyway, you can also find them at pretty much any place where cult movies are sold on the secondary market. If they market themselves as a video store, make sure they're like a mom and pop corp or a mom and pop business, because then they're not going to be spending all their time trying to shove the newest hits down your throat. That is provided if you can find a video store.
What is the definition of a cult in movies?
A cult following? A cult following?
Yeah.
Where it doesn't do so good at the box office, but it built over time. People watch it, on DVD or on video at home, and they continues to build a large fan base that is very, very tenacious to it.
Like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie with Ivan Ooze?
Like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie with Ivan Ooze. It does have a cult following. I was talking more about movies like Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas,
The
Big Lebowski, Pink Floyd's The Wall. Um, ladies and gentlemen, please do not try to infer any habits of mine from the names of the movies I'm listing off. Anyway, um,
I'm the dude, man. Anyway.
So I'm not sitting on my ponytail. Let's talk about Gamera versus Monster X. It starts off, we see everyone setting up for the World's Fair. You've heard us talk about it. It's the World's Fair.
Mm-hmm.
An archaeologist wants to bring in an old statue to show as a contribution to the fair.
And this angry
that
man
wakes up a monster.
Well, you skipped the part. This guy, they want to bring in the statue, but this angry man warns them that they shouldn't, but they don't believe his warnings. They say he says it's cursed, but they go off and do it anyways.
Then Gamera shows up to warn them.
Mm-hmm. Then the adults don't listen again.
Yeah, the children know, but the adults don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
So
that is a question. How do the children know? I never get that.
Because Gamera is famous for being a friend to all children.
Oh, okay. Because logic, or how did they come to that conclusion?
Because of his past deeds.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There is a supposed canon to the movies, but in what order, I'm not entirely sure. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so pinned underneath that statue was Monster X. He's out, and he wants to fight. So he and Gamera do get out, and he travels all the way back to the World's Fair because he's following because Monster X is following that statue.
Yes.
Meanwhile, yeah, go ahead.
Can I say why Monster X is following the statue?
Let's wait until we get to that point in the story.
Okay.
So at the World's Fair, we see. So how long is the stream today? It's going to be a full-length stream today, and possibly tomorrow.
Oh, definitely tomorrow.
So, as I was saying, I said that because Entertainers Warehouse asked how long the stream was going to be today. Anyway, so Gamera is following Monster X is following the statue. At the World's Fair, we see the scientist kind of getting his project ready, the world's smallest submarine, or functioning submarine. Well, I imagine he means high pressure or perform the same depth as full-size submarines, which I don't know how that's possible, but okay. At least for the time frame, at least for the time period that they're in.
Mm-hmm. Well, Godzilla movies have gotten away with that also, with tech. That is
fair enough. So, it's fun to poke these little holes, but we do love it. This comes to that. Archaeologist brings the statue in. Monster X chases it. Gamera has to fight it off. They take Gamera for granted. They find out why Monster X continually pursues the statue.
Mm-hmm.
Go on. You want to talk about this?
Mm-hmm. So it's sort of teased at the beginning when you get the statue, because the statue ignites a annoying sound. Doesn't really harm humans. Effect on Monster X, and it projects off this painful, agonizing noise that harms Monster X. Monster X is trying to destroy the statue.
Yep.
Gamera is trying to save the statue to keep Monster X from attacking, pretty much.
Pretty much.
That statue was made to stop Monster X from going in an angry rampage. That's why Monster X was in the bottom of the ocean.
Exactly. And then we see Gamera gets nearly defeated. He petrifies.
Yep.
Monster X's power.
Because Monster X stabs Gamera in the neck with with its quill on its tail. Or is it her? Have anyone confirmed Monster X is a her?
I don't think it's ever mentioned.
Okay.
Anyway,
then that quill injects a baby inside of, or an egg inside of Gamera. Then the kids
specifically
decide.
Oh yes, the kids decide we're gonna hijack the scientist's world's smallest submarine, sail into Gamera, where water has flooded his system because his head is submerged in water, and we're going to go to his lung, which still has air somehow.
World's smartest kids.
That's not, yeah, and that's not how lungs work, by the way. It's not a big pocket of air. Anyway, they find the baby Monster X, and I think they lure it out.
What?
I think they lure it out. The baby Monster X. That's where they find it, right? In Gamera's lung.
There's one egg, I believe, because the baby hatched from it. Remember? It was one egg.
Yeah, they find the young Monster X, and I believe they lure it out of Gamera's lungs, and then Gamera suddenly reignites and starts breathing fire.
Yep.
Long story short, Gamera defeats Monster X. The statue is placed back on top of Monster X to pin it under the water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can I talk about the production value of this movie?
Yes, please do.
Well, it is definitely not. You can tell there's a big difference in the production value and budget between a Godzilla film and Gamera and this Gamera movie. Like one example is when Gamera turns into like fades off as he's pretty much dying. You notice the suit does not change. The suit is different because it's not that the regular Gamera suit you see his eyes like glowing. They glow a little bit, like luminescent glow, kind of like the Ultraman eyes or the Godzilla eyes. But when you see him like just pass out like that, it's just a rubber dinosaur type look on the face, and it's just those eyes are just painted on there, like with that lazy paint that you see on that dollar store dinosaur toy. Is there a question?
Nah, just some troll in the comments.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Then what was it? I've just get my thoughts back together. Okay. Other than that, I think the Monster X suit actually had some of the best like Toku based production value in there. I mean, of course the Gamera suit too, but in terms of like some of the scenes, I think Monster X's suit was pretty well put together.
I agree. I think Monster X's suit was very well for the time. They definitely made some kick-ass suits.
Yes. I'd say I'd put this around Ultraman TV series level production value, which is not bad at all.
Original Ultraman or like the Heisei era, Showa era? So like early Showa era levels?
Yes, like 1966.
Okay, so early Showa era Ultraman.
First Ultraman.
Yep, so firstly and foremostly, I think. But let's talk about the characters real quick. Obviously, there's Gamera and there's Monster X, the only memorable ones.
Then the only other way. People we don't.
Yep, we have Kid 1.
Yeah.
Kid 2.
Kid 1.
Kid 3.
Kid 2.
Dad archaeologist. Dad engineer. We've got worried mom.
Oh,
we've got board of scientists.
Something I've noticed that casting wise that you don't see a lot of anymore. They have a lot Japanese movie or specifically Japanese kaiju films back then had a lot of you saw at least a little bit of diversity in there in the casting. Nowadays it's like just solid Japanese actors in there usually in film. Is it just because back then people like some of their military families from World War, or descendants of military family from World War II? Well, what is it?
It could be really anything. I haven't studied that much into the history of Gamera. I know more about Godzilla than I know about Gamera.
But
I
even
know kind of
Godzilla,
Godzilla's history. Well, the original Godzilla film, the old black and white one, did kind of come up from the World War II era where everyone was really afraid, or it was I think it was after World War II. I think Japan was starting to just about getting itself put back together, and well,
talk about the mix of
they wanted to create
the diversity.
There was a big fear of there was a big in the original Godzilla film. There was a big fear of nuclear weapons, and so they thought, okay, how do we make a horror film with a monster that's as scary to the public right now as it can be? Well, let's create a monster spawned from nuclear energy. So they created Godzilla.
Well,
Gamera really only came into existence to create a more child-friendly version of Gamera. But actually, no, that's not true, because in War of the Monsters, which is a sequel to the first Gamera film, we do find out that Gamera was originally evil, or rather just around smashing stuff up.
Yeah. Dude, what I was asking was, in Gamera, I've noticed there's a lot of big diverse, and most Showa era kaiju films, there's a lot of diversity in the casting, at least a little bit. Like you saw, there was an African American in there. There was a Caucasian. Or there were quite a few Caucasians in there too, actually. But I see that a bit in Showa era.
I think it's because at that point in time, there are obviously American and Western immigrants in Japan working. And at the time, there was this really big rising popularity with American models and American actors. For some reason, they thought it looked exotic and very interesting to have a foreigner in your advertising or your film. And that actually carried over all over the world. But it was just kind of starting in Japan.
I don't see that much anymore, though. That's the thing. In Japan.
That is the thing. It's like in Japan. That's the thing, I guess, because Japan is kind of over its sort of foreigners are so cool phase, at least for the most part.
Yeah. They don't like.
There are some who are still kind of interested in the world, but Japan, despite being probably one of the more technologically advanced countries in the world, is still very isolated. It views the rest of the world through media. And right now, media does not have a lot of positive things to say about the rest of the world.
Right.
And we'll leave it at that.
Because apparently negativity makes more money. But that's another question for another time.
That is a topic we will not touch upon here on the dojo.
Right.
So, media, is definitely not showing a good picture. And understandably so, there's a lot of screwed up shit going on in the world right now. But we're not here to have a political discussion.
No, we're not.
We're here to talk toku. We're here, and so anyway,
there's just a question about
recent
the
lack of foreign. It's just the recent lack of diversity in recent TokuCHATsu. I think might be the result of there. Or it's not even a problem. As a matter of fact, Kabuto B Fighter. Which is a metal hero, just if we're talking about diversity in Toku, he was the Dragonfly one. Oh, true. But anyway, I was saying the Dragonfly warrior. I forget his superhero name. The actor for that was actually working part-time in Japan at the time, and got into modeling because a friend suggested it to him. And he was American, by the way. And so he went down to Toei Studios, who were taking auditions for this. And you had all these different martial artists and gymnasts doing all kinds of cool stuff to audition. But out of the entire crowd, he was the only one who watched Kamen Rider.
Oh, yeah. You told me the story.
Yeah, so he struck a henshin pose and, acted like a Kamen Rider would, and that landed him the part.
Which character did he play?
look up Kabuto B Fighter. He is the Dragonfly one. I don't know the superhero name. I haven't watched it. I've been meaning to. It's
Kabuto
on my
Fighter.
list.
I'll have to look that up.
It's a metal hero.
Oh, nice. What year was this?
Well, I don't remember the year exactly, but to make it short, Kabuto B Fighter was the sequel to Juko B Fighter or something. And
80s or 90s?
it was adapted into Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Oh, okay. You cringed when you said that.
It's not a good show.
No, it's not. Good theme song, though.
For the first 15 seconds. Then it gets stuck in your head and on your nerves. But character-wise, humans were bland as usual, as you can expect from a movie of this era, especially a kaiju film. The focus is meant to be on the monsters, not the people.
Uh-huh.
So there's really not much going on. There's it focuses out of all the cast, the kids are the most memorable because they act as sort of the inspiration and the focal point for Gamera. So that's how they get their past.
It's kind of reverse psychology in the Gamera universe. Like the kids are more responsible and know more than the adults do. You ever notice that? Is this kind of would this be like the Japanese version of a show where kind of like Rugrats, where the kids are, it seems like the kids are much smarter than the adults are.
Weirdly, the best analog I could possibly find is South Park.
Oh yes, that's sad, by the way, but okay, yeah.
Where the kids seem to have a better grasp of reality than the adults.
Yeah.
And it usually comes to the assumption that kids don't have a lot of experience or anything. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I think that's all we can say about Gamera tonight, though. What do you think?
Yeah, we actually ate up a good chunk of time. So let's talk build for a minute.
Yes. All right.
Okay. So here's what we know. Firstly and foremost, we know he's based, or his motif is model building, or kind of do-it-yourself hobbyism.
Yes.
He changes form using what are essentially aerosol paint cans that work in some kind of a blender. Which in my mind,
pipes.
Yeah, which in my mind is supposed to be some kind of a pressurized paint mixer.
That's interesting. Oh, elaborate.
Actually, do you have your phone on you right now?
I'm using my phone because my iPhone. I was using my iPad, but it was at 1%.
Well, then I will look this up because
all right.
The design of the driver, the build driver, is very reminiscent of the Double driver, and the gadgets of Kamen Rider Double.
Because it has that mechanicalized plastic look with
the kind of built in your garage.
Yes.
Look. With the interchanging gears
that go in too.
That's very true. I'm gonna have to look this up.
Do you think it'll be attached to Double, like it'll take place in Fudo City?
I don't think so. What I do think is going to happen is we're gonna get a big Heisei movie, and we're gonna see Build and Double stand next to each other.
Well,
and Build is going to be using Build is going to use a Cyclone and a Joker full bottle.
Well, it's been confirmed that we are getting a Heisei final, or Heisei Generations final film. For in
that would be
December.
Interesting.
It's been confirmed.
That would be very interesting.
Heisei Final or something like that. Final's in the name. Ask Dragoon Zombie on Amino. He'll tell you.
I'm just gonna Google it real quick. So I can stay engaged in the conversation.
Okay.
But essentially, that's what I think is going to happen. We're going to see a crossover. Double is going to meet Build, and Build is going to use a Cyclone full bottle and a Joker full bottle.
Question: what's the chances that Shotaro and Philip will show up out of costume, and how can that work out?
I don't know. Honestly, I think it's more likely that we'll see Kamen Rider Joker.
Okay.
Canonically.
I was thinking. My idea was
unless we're pulling time travel shenanigans, which being a sort of a big movie, it's not unlikely that Den-O is going to show up.
My pitch is possibly the manga is canon to the series, and then you have to read the manga to get how Philip would return.
That's very fair.
If Philip does return in the manga, because I think it does show up that Philip does get resurrected in the manga, because he has like green hair now or something.
Really? Well, I guess that makes sense with the whole extreme power.
The artwork, he has green hair. In the manga artwork cover, he has green hair, and he's bent over with a book. While Shotaro is like this.
Interesting. So I can't find the name of the guy who designed the Double Driver, but we'll look it up later. Maybe we'll tweet it out. But anyway. Secondly, a new perfect match or a new best match has been unveiled as well. It's called, I believe it's not called. It's called Rocket Panda.
Rocket Panda. I'm noticing a connection between animals and machines.
Machines, the organic and the inorganic.
Yeah. Rabbit.
I think that's going to come into play.
It's like Rabbit and Soda, right?
Rabbit and Tank.
Rabbit and Tank. What else do we got? I only remember Rabbit and Tank.
Rabbit and Tank is his base mode.
Yeah. But why Rabbit and Tank? What is the gimmick here?
One half is definitely going to have animal powers, and the other half is going to carry over the powers of the machine that it's replicating. It's model building. He's kit bashing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Kind of like the Gundam bear guy.
Gunpla.
The bear guy.
Yeah, bear guy was only ever a Gunpla. He was never a mech, so.
Yeah, so Gunpla. What Gunplas are like animal Gundam models, right?
Or Gunpla, plastic models of the Gundam mobile suits.
Mm-hmm.
Bear guy was designed after Act Guy.
Okay. Yeah, I have a bear guy somewhere in my room. I need to get it. But yeah, that's what I thought of when you told me about the organic mixed with mechanics. Like the Gundams would be the mechanics, and the bear guy would be the organic. That's actually a smart idea for a henshin. Big grin on my face, for a meme.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to wait for Bill to come out.
Yeah. So
is that smart though? Bear guy and Gundam?
I don't know. So
we don't have enough info to grasp why.
There's not really much. Yeah, we can't really grasp why. But I do believe that the costume and prop designers from Double are coming back for one final hurrah, especially considering with the Kamen Rider Double manga coming out. I think this is too big an opportunity to miss.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm excited to see is another enemy rider or rival rider, because they're called rivals in this series, use guns to transform. Granted, they're spray guns, but they're guns nonetheless.
Man, I wish I went to Japan Hero Convention, because I could have asked the actor, Shotaro's actor, if he is returning. Because there's a Japan. Speaking of, we're on the topic of Double.
He might not have been able to tell you.
Yeah, that's true.
Contractually.
Wait, say that again. You said he might
He
not be
might
able
not
to
have been able to tell you
because of
due
contract.
to something in his contract. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he is. More on topic of double. The actor who plays, if anyone's watching, who's in near Pasadena, California, around the time of the Japan Hero convention. There is a convention every other year that coincides with the Power Morphicon convention that's in Pasadena, California, every August, called the Japan Hero Convention, where they have Japanese tokusatsu actors from Japan come to America to the Pasadena Convention Center, and you can meet them. It is a tokusatsu convention, one of the only tokusatsu conventions in the U.S. So if you're ever there and you're a fan of Double, please go and meet them. Right?
Yep. I want to talk real quick about before we go into open discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about Garage Pro TV.
Yes.
And their Strega project, which will be coming out very soon.
We should, since they're doing a Toku project, what do you think about idea of also adding that to our TokuCHATsu lineup of talking about episodes of that?
Well, it's going to be a movie.
Oh, okay, well, we'll talk about it as a movie then.
Yeah, we'll talk about it as a movie. We'll make it a main event sometime once it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Not to put any pressure on the creator, but seriously, go check out Garage Pro TV. I've been studying up on his essentially his Tokusatsu 101 videos for the upcoming Revuger project. Again, it is happening. It's just taking a while to get some shipping information done for the bases of the helmets. By the way, that's Yumaki Monster Studios that's making the helmet bases for me. Real awesome people.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, can I talk about my cosplay real quick while we're talking about costumes?
Okay.
Why I'm wearing a hat here?
Yeah, really briefly, I guess.
Cool. So there's a convention coming up called NekoCon. It happens every November, and I am going as my favorite YouTuber, Juwario, live from NekoCon. I will be having a big poster board, looks like a computer screen, and a subscriber count, channel name. Will be live from the convention, and I already ordered the T-shirt too.
Yep, you should have gotten Juwario's Cat Girl Army T-shirt.
Cat Girl Army T-shirt.
Or Neko Girl Army.
I'm sorry, I wanted to go for like the actual like con shirt he wore. Like Riz, I like his that's my favorite version of his shirt. You can play this shirt.
I just figured since you were going to NekoCon, it'd be kind of funny.
It would be, but not many people would get the joke. I'm doing this for myself, not to get.
Fair enough. But we all know Juwario's reaction to kitties.
Yeah, it's true. Yes, we do.
Well, those of us who have seen
it
already know.
I can make a joke, like a film, a scripted acting video of it if you want, though.
No, I think it's cool. Just do your thing and enjoy the convention.
Yep. Anyway, back on.
Speaking of convention.
Yes.
Speaking of conventions, this time next week I will be in my hotel room after having finished with the first day of Vermont Comic-Con.
Will you be doing a live review also? Perhaps some Japanese candy?
They'll be selling that, actually, at Vermont Comic-Con. There was one booth that sold a few Kamen Rider figures, and that was it.
Okay, well, if you get some Japanese stuff or Japanese candy or anything, feel free to review it live. I'd like to see what you have to say.
We might do that for TokuCHATsu that evening.
All right, cool.
I will get some live footage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'll be edited down into a video for the dojo as sort of a vlog. It'll go up on the dojo Twitter, too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be kind of a fun thing because a couple of Power Rangers are going to be there.
Which Rangers?
The Yellow Ranger from Turbo, I know for certain.
I follow her son on Instagram because she told me to. She told all her followers subscribe to her son's channel.
She's pulling mom muscle.
Yeah, yep. Who else? Who's the other one?
Let me check the website real quick. It's gonna take a minute. My internet's kind of slow. Okay, so come on, load. Going to guests and artists.
Out of all of Channel Awesome, who would you like to meet the most at a con?
I would actually like to meet Malcolm.
I would meet Lakar. Wait, because Apology Hack is not a part of Channel Awesome anymore, if I'm correct. Or
no, he's part of his own thing. Yeah. He's collaborated with them, but he's not a part of them.
I want to meet Linkara and Doug Walker.
I don't think Linkara's part.
Really?
Channel Awesome.
There's just probably collaborations, and I want to meet Doug Walker, mostly. He's hilarious. Do you watch Nostalgia Critic?
I do. I watch him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And like I do enjoy his stuff. I agree with all of his reviews, but he definitely does take the time to think them out as an educated opinion.
He even if he didn't grow up with something, like when he reviewed Power Rangers, he even was honest about it that it wasn't my thing growing up. So my opinions on it are different from what it would be if I was a fan of it.
Yeah. Going at this slowly so that I don't make the screen skip.
I swear, if it says Michael Coe, well, guess what? Actually, now I'll tell you afterwards.
So, yeah. So Nakia Baris is gonna be there.
Nakia Baris. That's the Yellow Ranger from Turbo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think she's gonna be the only Power Ranger there.
Oh, okay.
Larry Hama's gonna be there, which is pretty cool.
Who's he?
He has a lot to do with Marvel Comics, G.I. Joe.
Oh, okay, cool.
Chad Rook is going to be there. He's an actor in Flash.
You want to do Q&A?
Let me just read through the guest list here, because some of these I'm actually interested in meeting. So I want to meet Nakia Baris. I didn't like Turbo, but I found her performance to be very entertaining.
Tanya, right?
Nakia.
No, but her name was in the show was Tanya, if I'm correct.
Yes, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Bill Anderson's going to be there. He had a lot to do with Marvel Comics, DC Comics. He actually did some work with the Ninja Turtles too, the original Ninja Turtles.
Oh, cool.
So let's go into Q&A, I guess.
Mind if I ask my cousins if they have any question first?
What?
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, we are viewed tonight in the same room as Kenny by his cousins because they were interested in seeing how we do things.
Yes. Do you guys have any questions about TokuCHATsu, like Gamera, anything, Godzilla, Power Rangers, anything? Anything in general?
Not from the top of my head.
How about you?
I'm kind of wondering how one Nostalgia Critic, I wonder why they had to, why couldn't they use the Megazord to beat the small opponent?
That's sort of left up to us. But all right, the question was,
I think you know what he's talking about. Nostalgia Critic once reviewed Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, and so he got an Optimus Prime Megazord to fight the bad guy and squish him.
Yeah.
Before he got big. The biggest reason for that, I believe, would be the biggest logical reason I can think of would be excessive force.
Mhm.
Because if you think about it, a Megazord or any kind of giant robot should be classified as a weapon of mass destruction if it is intended for combat.
Yeah, and he has no honor, so he stomped on the monster.
Well, he's ruled more by logic than honor.
Yeah, logic. So, problem's gone.
He liked to poke holes. Yeah, he likes to poke holes, and that's why we watch him.
Yes. Anyone in the stream have any questions?
I think it's just Entertainer's Warehouse and
some what?
As far as viewers goes.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Nope. Okay. Well, how did you like the stream, at least? Let's get some feedback while we're waiting for questions. Good. Thanks.
10 out of 10.
Do you have a favorite part?
More specifically, Power Rangers.
Yeah, my cousins here grew up on Power Rangers Samurai.
Ah.
It was a good season.
It wasn't terrible, considering that it was like the first season that Saban got back creative control of.
Mm-hmm.
Because until then, it was like up until.
Did you know that? Hello? If anyone wants cookie cake, then get them. Okay. Can you keep them entertained while I be back? We're getting dessert cookie cake, and it's about to go.
Okay, well, as you go have your cookie cake and not share any. I am gonna go real quick, because Samurai was the first season that Saban got creative control back to. It's from Wild Force up until Operation Overdrive, I believe it was. Blank on the order, but I think it was Operation Overdrive that essentially Disney had creative control of it. And I don't think Disney gave back creative control to Saban. Started producing Samurai, Super Samurai. Essentially, they had to split one season into double seasons.
Fun fact, did you know an episode got banned from airing on Nickelodeon because they showed the Rangers had bruises and they deemed it too violent for children just because they had bruises?
Yet Disney was getting away with bloody-ass actors just cuts and bruises all over them.
I blame Viacom.
Yeah, Viacom probably. Anyway, we're not gonna go down that rabbit hole.
No, we already did that with our.
We are not going down that road. Anywho, I think that about does it for this stream. We've filled out about a good solid hour. So, thanks guys so much for watching. If you like this video, or if you like this stream, subscribe. While you're there, check out the sidebar of featured channels. You'll find my channel, Kenny's channel, and JT's channel. JT hasn't been on a lot. He's been very busy to that because we do have lives outside of this.
Yep.
Kenny's got school. JT and I now have work. I still have work.
But we always have a place here on the weekends and whenever.
Pretty much. So check the Weekend Dojo out on Twitter and Facebook. On Twitter, it's at @weekend_dojo, all lowercase. On Weekend Dojo. Thank you all so much for watching. Appreciate your viewership and for sticking with us as long as you have. Excuse me. It's done. And as always, we'll see you later, you weekend warriors.
And stay more phenomenal, everybody.